So, welcome to Intuitive Life and Business Sparks podcast. Today is the first time that I have interview guests, and I'm really excited because I've been thinking of interviewing Edson and Selina for a while. And it just happened that they posted something that they're going to hold a workshop very soon. And I just jumped right in and asked them very spontaneously if they wanted to be guests in my podcast. So welcome you two, and thank you for being here with me.
Thank you.
Thank you, and it's so nice to see you after, I haven't seen you for a while. So
yeah,
I only see what you post on Instagram, which looks very impressive with the cold water things and your handstands and your pull-up challenges.
I thought you might like that.
Yeah, that's right up my street, right? That's right up my street.
Yeah, I want to tell you a bit why Edson and Selina are my guests and how we are connected. And we just realized that we met 10 years ago. And it was it was like a starting point for me in personal development. It was a workshop with Edson and his sister, Ludmila. And that's also where I met Selina. And we spent the weekend together, and it was very powerful. And I'm still connected to this event and also to you two, because it made like a big shift in my life. And now after 10 years, looking back, what happened to all of us and how we have shifted our life and how we're leading our life today is just so powerful and inspiring, I would say.
So, and friends for life, right?
Yeah.
That's really, I mean, I find that such a beautiful gift from doing that workshop, is that they're still all connected, and that's amazing.
Absolutely. I think I wrote in my blog post as well about that and just said we're friends. And I think it's because we're so open and honest with each other at that weekend as well. It really kind of shifted something for me too.
Yeah.
I think we were digging so deep. I mean, I was a very angry person on the first day of this workshop.
You were not the only one. I remember a few other ones who were angry when they came to the workshop.
I mean, I was even asking myself, what am I doing here? Why did I get up so early? So maybe Edson, you can start. What made you, what inspired you to start these workshops, or really, what's like your journey to? How did you get into this?
It started with me being frustrated in my job, and a friend recommended a personal development course. I'll try to give the short version, because I started in 1999 my journey, and that was me being frustrated in my job. And through this course that I went on, I learned a lot about myself and my relationships. And I got a whole bucket full of leadership tools, which led me to go back to the corporation that I worked for and start my own department. So I was like, wow, that's amazing. And some friends were inspired and wanted to do that kind of work as well. But I'll be honest, I was stuck with a question of, is this it? Right? After the corporate job, I started my own business using all those tools, and I was still going through extreme lows, where my lows were so low that I was literally having a question of, why wouldn't I just stop life? Right? And what kept me going was the fact that I would hurt my mom and my sister. But my lows were so low that I just really didn't get the point. And I have a love-hate relationship with human beings. When they do amazing things and when human beings explore their potential, I fall in love with every single one. But when it's greed, yeah, greed and hatred, polluting the world, hurting other people, it can, well, it used to bring me down so much that I just thought, sort all this, I'm gone. And then one of my mentors shared the books that he read, and I started to read those books. And the one book that was the tipping point for me, which I read back in 2007 or no 2006, was Man's Search for Meaning by Dr. Viktor Frankl. And that book is the foundation of everything that I do now. Dr. Viktor Frankl teaches logotherapy, which is reason-based therapy. So the whole idea that we human beings are motivated by reason. We don't get out of bed unless we have a reason to, right? We don't get uncomfortable unless we have a good enough reason to. And that was the tipping point for me. And what led to the workshop where we all met was that me and a bunch of friends were going to create our future. So we hired this little bungalow, and we're going to meet there, and we're going to bring all of our personal development knowledge together and share that. And I told my mom about it, and she was excited. She said, "Oh, I want to come." I said, "Well, right, come to this island and join us." Well, sure enough, a few days later, my mom calls, "Well, why don't you fly over to the Netherlands? We'll pay your flight. I have 6 other people that want to do this. You come and do what you're going to do with your friends," which had no structure, nothing. So she invited me basically to create a workshop. And that's where it all started. I created that workshop. My sister participated in that, and she found it transformative. So then she invited me to come to Switzerland and introduce me to all of you wonderful friends of mine now. So that's where my journey started.
Wow, it's so beautiful. Also, your mother organizing all the people for your very first workshop. It's like, it's like this last bit of courage which is needed, and like a little friendly push to step into this zone of power and of genius.
Yes.
Beautiful.
She's always in my gratitude, right? But yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, and Selina, you're such an inspiration. I remember these 10 years ago, you already started your journey of, to me, it's like following your heart, but you called it following your curiosity. Would you like to tell where you were there and where you're today?
Sure, yes. So the day I actually met you, I'd already started on my journey, as you put it. I started looking for my passion, looking for what I was interested in, because I was in a job that was a really good job, but it wasn't quite right for me. I felt there was more to life. I knew there was more to life. So I was on this big journey to find what I was passionate about. And already at that point, I'd started my old company, Curious Courses, where I had short courses helping people to discover new skills, hobbies, and passions. And I remember thinking about Edson's course, and I was a participant at that point, and I turned up, and it was rather very magical, actually, because all of a sudden things made sense to me. It was as if I thought, that's what it's all about. And something just clicked for me then. I remember, I don't know if you remember, Edson, but I just remember you said, "Oh yeah, you were rather quick at doing this." And I was like, yeah, because it just went click, 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 click. Made sense. So I really walked out of there going, that's what I'm here to do. So I was really excited about that. And because I'd already started with Curious Courses, it wasn't that long afterwards, maybe I can't remember if it was a year or something like that afterwards. And I called Edson up and I said, hey, let's do some more of these courses together. I want you to come over to Zurich and run some. And we did a whole bunch of life purpose courses year after year, actually probably more than once a year sometimes. And it was incredible. And I participated in all of them because I loved it. I just really enjoyed seeing people go ding, so having these like aha moments and having the penny drop. And also every time I did it, I found out more about myself too.
And if I can add to that, you also applied it to create your mission statement for your business.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I applied it not only to my personal life, but also to my business at the time. And yeah, it was really powerful work, and I could see what a difference it was making. And like you and I have stayed in touch, and well, all of us have stayed in touch. Many of the participants have stayed in touch with the ones who went really deep into it. And we really spent a significant amount of time together, just really searching, looking. And yeah, they are good friends, and I would call upon them like anytime. And it's because we went so deep together.
It feels like peeling the onion or so, like going layer and layer deeper, and like unfolding this golden part within every human being, and finding this place where everyone can like shine and grow. And yeah, it's very inspiring to see also the transformation people go through while they're doing such a workshop. You made another shift, Selina. What happened there? From your business to what you're doing today. What was the turning point there?
Oh well, okay, then let me tell you about that, because the reason why I set up Curious Courses was to find my passion. And I saw so many courses and I saw so many different things, and it was amazing. It was all part of my journey, all part of being curious and finding out and looking at all sorts of different things. And I loved it. And at some point, there was a friend of mine who had done the rapid transformational therapy work. And I had a few sessions, and then we ran a course. And I thought, wow, this is amazing. This is really transformative. And I could see how you could shift your mindset in a relatively short period of time. And I was really, really surprised. And I know your podcast is about being intuitive as well. So I'd like to just share a short story of like how I really, really became a rapid transformational therapist. And I've followed a guy called Brian Weiss for a long time. I always forget what the book title is. It's either Many Lives, Many Masters, or Many Masters, Many Lives. Do you know the one I mean, Barbara? I'm not sure if you do.
I can't.
Okay, so he's a hypnotherapist, and he specializes in past life regression. And he's in his 70s. And he had a workshop coming up. And so my friend said to me, let's go to Rome and attend his workshop, because you never know how long he's going to be running these things. So I thought, okay, then we'll do it, because I've been following him for a very, very long time and I love his books. And she was the same friend who is a rapid transformational therapist. And when the workshop actually came, she couldn't make the workshop, although she was the one that presented it, and she couldn't make it because of personal reasons. So I thought, well, I'm still going to go. After 3 days of being on this workshop, I thought, wow, this is amazing. This is what I'm interested in. I really want to go deeper with this. I want to find out more about this. So I come back on the Sunday, and I start Googling and start looking around and looking at all sorts of courses. And I find my friend's teacher, that's Marissa Peer, and she has a course 2 weeks later in London. And I thought, oh my God, that's too soon. I'm just high from this conference. So I thought, and I remember speaking to my husband, he was like, well, sleep on it and think about it. And I said to the universe and said, look, if I'm meant to go, show me a sign. And I sleep on it. And the next day, something cancels around that time, because we're in Switzerland after all, everyone's booked up for months. Yeah. So 2 weeks away, everything's booked. And I remember looking at that and thinking, okay. And I looked at it. That was the only thing I couldn't really shift. Everything else I could cancel myself. And I thought, okay, this is a sign. I'm going to take it as a sign and go. So I went and I studied and I studied. And I did not think that that was what I wanted to be. But I remember doing an exercise in that workshop where they jumped you forward a year. And I could see myself doing half curious courses and half this new work. And it surprised me. But on the course itself, I saw such amazing transformations that on the flight back, I was like, yes, this is what I'm meant to do. So that's how it all shifted. That was the big step.
Beautiful.
If I can add to that, and when earlier you mentioned, Barbara, peeling an onion, and what I find so beautiful about our journey is that Selina is now coaching me, and she has helped me peel so many layers. Right? Is from being a participant in my workshop to now being my coach and friend, and yeah, I feel blessed to know that, well, basically, I feel blessed and lucky that you went on your journey, because now you're helping me and others peel the layers off.
Well, I'd say it's very mutual, actually. With Edson and I, we kind of like, he's peeling away one of my layers, I'm helping him with one of his, and we're constantly challenging each other and pushing each other, because we're quite similar and we both like challenges. And so we're constantly testing each other's boundaries. And Edson, as you know, Barbara, has really challenged me to my core at some points.
I'm sure he has.
As he has with many people. But I am eternally grateful for those pushes as well. Not at the time.
He's not a mean man. There's
he's lovely.
You hate him.
It's a love-hate relationship, yeah.
Well, I think the thing is you have in common is this foundation of trust and of I don't know. It's like a layer which is just there, and it's like unbreakable. You are allowed to tell each other the truth.
Yeah.
And that's so powerful, because it's very rare nowadays. And it can be challenging if somebody tells you the truth. I know.
Yeah. And I would say our trust goes so far that, like, last week we were acknowledging this to each other, how big that trust is, because I send my clients to work with Selina, and she sends her clients to work with me, and not only my clients but also my dear friends, right? I have a friend who's going through a really rough time, and I beg Selina to take her on as a client, and I don't want her to go to anyone else, because I know that she's in such great hands when she's with Selina. And that is what we've built up over the years. Yeah?
That's also what I feel now in these challenging times. It's really time for more cooperative, more, that people work together and create something bigger than the single being could create alone. And that's why I find your upcoming workshop so powerful, because you bring together both this full wealth of knowledge, and together you create something even bigger, and you hold the space for so many people to grow. So I would like to ask you what this workshop is going to be about, and what you envision for the people who participate.
You want to take that one, Selina?
You want to go?
Well, I think the answer is here, right? Looking at our individual journeys over the last 10 years, and Barbara, you were, if I can share this,
You
Is there a
can.
way for you to edit stuff out? Because I'm going to share something very personal. But I remember when you came into the workshop, you were you were on the edge, let's say it that way. And you were also on the edge of with your relationship with your current husband, right?
Mm-hmm.
And jump forward 10 years later, you've got 3 children.
Mm-hmm.
And you've moved to where you want to be, and you're now doing what you want to do and inspiring others and giving back. And that's what this workshop is about. It's like bringing a community together who all as individuals create a vision for their life, align themselves with their true north, right? So it's like you have your compass in life, and some of us are in the space, especially right now, where we're spending more time thinking about what is that's important to me. What do I really want, right? Because some of us have to work from home, and we spend more time with ourselves, and we are questioning the way we were working, right? And with all these questions, to have a guide or guides in this, right? So because we're doing this together, so to have 2 guides and a community of like-minded people who are all working on around the same question, and to go on that journey all together as a community. And as you said, Barbara, it's like when you bring 2 together, it is not 1 and 1, right? The sum is really greater than its parts. So it will become so powerful to be in that community and go on that journey and find your true north. And then once you found it, to work through staying on that course and developing other skills that will allow you to be in a position where every single one of us is, where we are a bigger contribution, right? And where we're no longer asking ourselves the question of, what am I here for? I might as well step out of life, right? I'm just here to consume and be part of this, sorry, I'm going to speak my opinion here, of this capitalist society where it's all about more, bigger, faster, rather than feeling, aligning, being inspired, and being fulfilled, and truly fulfilled. Mm-hmm. Where you're in a place where you no longer need anything outside of you to form your identity, where you know who you are and you know your path, and then you can speak and walk your truth. And that's what that's what we want for well, basically for the world. And if I can say this, because we were having a heated discussion last night, Selina and I, where we are both getting out of our shell and say, okay, we're going to open up to the world, and no longer just one-on-one or small communities. Everybody's welcome, because it doesn't serve us to play small anymore. So hand in hand, stepping out of our comfort zone, Selina and I, and really just inviting everybody in.
Yeah, I absolutely second that. I would say how this workshop came about was we were talking about the future, what we wanted as well, and how we saw our futures. And I was offering vision work and things like that. And we just realized that it complements so well the life purpose, because that really builds the foundation. Once you know who it is that you are, then you have something really to build upon. And you're secure in yourself. You don't have to keep questioning, as Edson said. And that's very powerful. I think knowing your life purpose is a big deal. And then you can go out into the world and go, okay, what is it that I want, and how am I going to do it? This is the impact that I'm going to make. So I'm also really, really excited about this work, and I know what an impact it's made for me. So I know how it can also help others.
Yeah, and then going from knowing your life purpose to knowing who you are, right? And where you go beyond your name, your family heritage, your job. No, I know who I am. And yeah, I think there's nothing that's more powerful than knowing who you are.
I agree. That's the spot where you're not your stories and not your past. You're just a being. And maybe to add, because maybe people put a lot of pressure on the term life purpose or calling or whatever, or the path. It doesn't mean that now looking back these 10 years, it doesn't mean that you knew every single day exactly what this path looks like. It's just you had like an idea of the direction, and I mean, it's still upside down and turning and going back and forth. But it's, as you said, Edson, it's maybe this connection with your inner self where you can check in and ask, am I still on the right path? Or does this still align with myself? And it's like a compass you have, which you can consult anytime and see, does this resonate with me, or do I have to change the situation or whatever? And also, as you described, Selina, the life purpose, or it's so beautifully to watch your journey, because the curiosity doesn't have this big pressure of passion and of calling. It's as Elizabeth Gilbert described, it's like this hummingbird which flies from flower to flower and gets inspired. And maybe one day you'll find a flower where you stay longer and want to go deeper. And that's what happened with you.
Yes, absolutely. I'm still very curious, and it's about growing. I think a big part of my life purpose is about growing and developing, and myself, and also helping others to do that too. So yeah, I'm always curious. I love learning new things.
And you're a fast learner.
Well, I'm not always fast. Sometimes we were talking about this yesterday, weren't we, actually, Edson? It's like we were talking about that. You were saying like people sometimes just pop like popcorn. So something that I might have learned like 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, all of a sudden makes sense. And then you go pop, 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 pop. And it's as if like it's like magic. But actually it's been deep in you for a long time. And now you were ready. Before you weren't ready. The temperature wasn't the right temperature yet. And now perfect conditions, pop.
It also feels to me that all this personal development and also spiritual work we've been doing for the last decades is now at this moment more important than ever. It's like it felt that this was like a boot camp for the times which are now this moment. And also people are like becoming more aware and asking more questions, and are, don't want to be steered by other forces or whatever. They want to be in their own power and realign with their own values. So I think it's really time to jump into this and go on this journey and this adventure and allow yourself to open up and grow.
Yeah, I think it's worth doing at any point in your life. And like you, Barbara, I think you're going to join us for this Create the Future You Want. And it's so valuable to repeat it, like go through it again and again, just to check in and kind of almost like tune the piano, basically. It's just tuning in, just saying, yeah, am I still, have things changed for me? Because we've all experienced very different things. Like I'm a mother now as well, and you're a mother. And so that also changes things. That gives us a new perspective on life. Like we want our kids to have an amazing future, and we want our kids to follow their dreams. But I'm a big believer, if I don't follow mine, then how can I tell my kid to follow his dreams if I'm not following mine? Because he'll be like, well, you didn't do it, so why should I do it? So I think there's a lot more input now that we can put into this whole life purpose creation as well. It's deeper.
Yeah, definitely. We have so much experience now with it. and not just by leading the workshops, which we've already done together as well, but also from our coaching experiences, from our parenting experiences, from our entrepreneurial experiences. The journey is just right. So we are richer for it, so we now have more to give.
And we'll continue learning too. All part of the journey.
Yes.
That's what I always say. I'm in this journey together with you. It's not that somebody is enlightened or whatever. It's just we're all on our own, like, development expedition or so. Earth school.
Yeah. Yeah, constantly learning, like every day.
Yeah. Okay, so when people are interested in participating in this workshop, where can they find you? How can they apply, or how does this work?
Yeah, so they can send us an email. The course will the course, it's going to be online on Zoom, and it will start on the 4th of June at 8 p.m. CET, Central European Time. And it will be for 4 weeks. So that will be the same time every Thursday night for 4 weeks. That will be the Create Your Life Purpose workshop. So just drop us an email, or if they have any questions, feel free to reach out to any of us and we'll be happy to answer.
Maybe you should mention that it's for free, which is incredible.
Yes. Sorry, I forgot to say it is for free.
Yeah.
Yes, it is for free. We want to make just more people aware of their life purpose. Just really understand who it is, why they're here, basically.
Yeah, and it's to give people a foundation, right? It's if you're walking around rethinking where you are in life right now, if you're rethinking where you are with your job right now, or even in your relationship, right, Barbara, at the time, 10 years ago, right? So then just drop us a line and either email myself edson@leadbyexample.com or Selina at
SelinaManKarlsson.ch.
I will link the addresses in the show notes so people can reach out to you.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. Is there anything to add or to any questions?
I have a question. To Barbara, it's like, how was your first podcast interview for you then? How did it differ from the normal podcasts?
Well, I loved it. The funny thing is, when I record my podcasts, I'm always outside, or almost always. I go into the forest and I just speak. And this is very different because it's so heart-opening to speak to you and to listen and to be inspired. Again, the three different people are more than the sum of the three. It's getting bigger, and it's exactly what I was wishing for this first interview. So I'm very grateful that you participated. Thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting us. I really appreciate your spontaneity as well. And we all just got together and jumped on and did this. So thank you for organizing everything.
Yes, likewise. Thank you, Barbara, because it was super spontaneous. We got a WhatsApp message from you yesterday, and it's like, okay, can you do tomorrow? Yeah, why not?
Yeah, you're brilliant. And I think, as I said to Selina yesterday, sometimes you have like this impulse or this idea. And I told her on the WhatsApp, I tell you now because otherwise I start doubting myself again. So maybe it helps others to hear that we're in this together.
The moment I heard that message, I was like, I chatted back straight away and was like, absolutely, let's do it.
So cool. So thank you very much. And I'm really curious to hear what happened after the workshop. So maybe we make an after interview again.
I
Thank
think that
you.
would be really good. Yeah, because then you can
Yeah.
share your experience as well.
Okay. So thank you very much and have a great day.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye.